Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego. It's what day is it today? I don't even know. Today is Monday, May 11th, 2026. Time for a live stream. Time for more free information to help you get through the green card process, the K1 visa process. 13 years experience. I've been doing this a long time, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, processing green cards and K1 visas for folks, reuniting families. I've been doing this a long time. But I'm not an immigration attorney, and I don't give you any legal advice, and I don't work for USCIS. I always have to say that. I got to make sure you guys know I'm not giving you any legal advice. I'm not an immigration attorney by any means, but you don't need one. The process is very easy. Now, this is the Monday, May 11th, so it's 6 p.m., and we are going to be on vacation. Karina and I, she's packing suitcases right now in the back of the house, so otherwise she would be with us on the live stream. But we're leaving Florida tomorrow, and we're going to be gone for about a week. BS Don Top 1000. Good evening to the Ross family. What's going on? And BS Don Top looks like you joined up as a member. So that's a Mountain Dew salute right there. I'll give you a Mountain Dew salute. I don't drink Mountain Dew. I'll give you this one and this Mountain Dew salute right here. Right here is, so you get a double Mountain Dew salute, but I don't drink Mountain Dew because it's got high sugar. The sugar content's too high, and my doctor told me I can't drink that stuff anymore, unfortunately. But you get a Mountain Dew salute. BS on top. Thank you. Looks like you signed up as a member, and we appreciate that. Now, tomorrow, Karina and I will be on an airplane. Okay, we're going to be flying out of here. We're leaving Florida tomorrow, so we won't do a live stream probably till next week. So, Hank, bear with us. Francois Livingston, good evening, Diego and Karina. Francois, what's going on, Francois? How is Hammett doing? We hope you both are doing well in this beautiful spring weather. It's almost summer, right? You're up in upstate New York. BS on top, haven't been on in a while, been a member for about 8 months. Oh, you must have changed your name or just haven't been here in a while. Okay. Well, then, no problem. I just haven't seen you for a long time, so probably that's why. But you got the Mountain Dew salute anyway. Welcome to the live stream. Copperhead, May 17th, the next live stream. What's today, the 11th? So 12, 13, 14, 15, 17. Yeah, about next week is the next live stream. And then we will get to, I'll be making videos of our adventures. We're going out west. Okay, and then next year, I'll probably take Karina to New York City. Hopefully by then, the city's cleaned up a lot more, in regards to illegal immigrants are out of there. The hotels are freed up. And let's see, so everything's going to be good. Take Karina and I'm going to take her to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and then next year we'll fly to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I'll rent a Jeep Cherokee, and we will just drive all over New Mexico. And I'll make videos about that. In New York City too, and also Pennsylvania. I want to take her up to Pennsylvania. BS Don Top 1000. Had to start drinking Dr. Pepper Zero, Pepsi Zero, or Coke Zero since it has no sugar. But you're right. But the drink has carbohydrates, which will then turn into sugar. So, it's still bad for you. So, no soda. I can't drink any soda. None. Zero, nada. But that's okay. I drink 2% milk and zero lemon juice, I guess. They sell it at Walmart. I can't remember what it's called. Francois, all is well here. Good. BS on top is Jay Baxter. So BS on top is Jay Baxter, and it changed the name for some reason. Yeah, you've been a channel member for a long time. You're one of our long-term members. So now you've been a channel member for a long time. If you send a text message to us next week, Karina will send you a free bag of Colombian coffee. If you drink coffee, you get a free bag. You've been a channel member that long. So Jay Baxter, those three don't have carbs, so I couldn't drink them either since I have been doing the keto diet. The keto diet's good. It's zero carbs basically, but you got to be careful. Let's see, Copperhead. Copperhead, good job, keep it up. No sugar? No, I avoid sugar as best as I can anyway. But I'm going to be on vacation tomorrow. Tomorrow night, we won't be in Florida. We'll be in Nevada. So I don't know. I'll be having to find places to eat. So it's going to be a little tougher finding zero sugar, but it is what it is. We're not going to have a horrible vacation just because my blood doesn't like having sugar pumped into it. I'm going to just have to battle through it. Copperhead, pink sea salt with water is necessary for keto. Okay, pink sea salt, very good. Copperhead, are you going to an Airbnb, your Florida house, while gone on vacation? No, we're only gone for a week. 7, 8 days, something like that, 7 days. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put the house on an Airbnb. I got too much stuff in here I don't want to be messed with. Like this computer right here, for one thing. Francois, have an awesome, well-deserved vacation. Where are we going to go? To Area 51. I want to take Karina to Area 51 and see if we can find J-Rod. J-Rod, the alien from the Zeta Reticuli. Bob Lazar was a physicist in Los Alamos. He got hired into Area 51, actually S4. And while there, he basically was back engineering the propulsion system of a extraterrestrial spacecraft, and he actually autographed his movie for me. Right here is the Bob Lazar, Area 51, and Flying Saucers. He autographed the movie poster for me. So I'm going to take, now Roswell's in New Mexico. That's a totally different place. But we're not going to go to New Mexico. We'll go to New Mexico next year. This year, we're going out west, and on that trip, we're going to Area 51, and we're going to go to the back gate of Area 51, and I'll make a video there, get some selfies, get some pictures, etc. Jay Baxter, look into those 3 sodas that say 0 and they have no carbs. Okay, calories or sugars. But mainly I drink water. That's probably smart right there. And water with lemon. That's very smart too. And that's about it until I discovered these. I'll check into it. Probably while I'm in Las Vegas. Now we're going to be staying at the Treasure Island Hotel on the Las Vegas Strip. Now the reason we picked the Treasure Island Hotel is because it's close to Interstate 15, which makes it easier for me to get on the interstate and take Corinna to different places without all the heavy traffic of the strip. I can just go out the back gate and get on Interstate 15 out behind Treasure Island Hotel. Copperhead, what size shirt do you wear? I wear medium to large, in between medium and large. Jay Baxter, I believe I told you already, but my wife got her 2-year green card in January of this year. I remember. That's great. I don't know why your YouTube name changed from Jay Baxter to BS Don Top 1000. It is, I don't know, maybe YouTube did that. Copperhead, what do you know about Los Alamos out in New Mexico, people working out at the lab? Yeah, well, I've been to Los Alamos. When I was in the United States Navy, I had to take a trip to Los Alamos and the national labs there. And I was working out, and I was also had to go to the university, the 2-year college, I believe it is, in Los Alamos, and talk to some folks when I was in the U.S. Navy. So I don't know too much about Los Alamos, other than what you can read online. So it's top secret, right? The place is top secret. So I don't know. My security clearance, even though it was very high when I was in the Navy, is no longer in effect. So I don't know. Bob Lazar worked at Los Alamos. Yes. Bob Lazar was a physicist in Los Alamos. And that's how we got introduced to an individual who recommended him for a job at S4, basically is what happened. BS Don Tuck, I have no idea. I'll have to look into it. And you sent a trophy cake for 1,000 jewels. Well, very good. Thanks, Jay Baxter. We got a trophy cake from Jay Baxter, 1,000 jewels. And Angel Marcia, 3218. Hi, Diego. Hope all is going well. Everything's great. Everything's good. Corinna's in the back. She's packing suitcases. She's packing my suitcase. She said she wanted to pack it. She likes to do stuff like that. She does so much. She's such a hardworking person. Works her day job. She helps me with the YouTube channel. She's running the house. She's busy going to night school, learning English. She got inducted into the honor society at night school. Amazing. She's just a workhorse. She's like, and in 1 year, basically in June of next year, she's eligible for U.S. citizenship. But now remember, she's a Venezuelan, so the process is going to probably go a little bit slower for her because she's from Venezuela. And as per the Trump administration, putting pauses on Venezuelan adjudication of 10-year green cards and citizenship applications. But I think by the next year, by another 12 months, especially if Venezuela becomes the 51st state. Can you imagine Venezuela becoming the 51st state of America, of the United States? Inducted into the U.S. Our Constitution, our country, Venezuela. What would happen then? What would be the consequences of Venezuela becoming the 51st state of America? Would that mean automatic citizenship for Karina and her family in Venezuela? Would they become automatic U.S. citizens? That would be good, wouldn't it? She wouldn't have to apply for U.S. citizenship. If Venezuela becomes the 51st state, she becomes an automatic American, right? Don't you think? I think so. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to talk to my congressman and get his opinion. Jay Baxter, I have no idea what the jewels are for, but I had 1,000, so I figured I'd use them. Okay, I don't know what they're. 1,000 jewels. Maybe it's the crown jewels. Maybe the Queen of England. Well, she passed away. Bless her soul. Maybe King Charles is missing 1,000 jewels now. He's going to go to the Tower of London and check out the safe and find 1,000 jewels are missing. I don't know what they are either, but we'll find out, right? Do you know J-Ron? He doesn't know either. I love putting this channel together for you guys. We love helping you. We love pulling you over the finish line, getting your green cards approved, your K1 visas approved, helping you through silly mistakes sometimes, like what would Bob Ross say? Bob Ross, the painter, he passed away too. Bless his heart. He's buried here in Florida. Bob Ross used to say, what was it? No, you don't you don't mess up a painting. It's just a silly or a learning curve or whatever he used to say. And he'd say, beat the living daylights out of his paintbrush. Anyway, I used to love watching Bob Ross on TV years ago. Especially when I was in the Navy at sea, bored out of my mind in the middle of the Eastern Mediterranean Sea, doing whatever we were doing. And I'd be watching Bob Ross on TV, painting pictures. And when I was in Colombia, I was painting pictures too. And I painted this really nice landscape picture. And Karina, when she went to pick up her passport, she took it to Venezuela and gave it to her mom. So her mom has one of my paintings hanging on her wall in her house in Venezuela. Amazing, right? I tell you, I've been doing this a long time, and there isn't anything I don't know about K1 visas, green cards. Now, one thing you got to pay attention to, American citizen sponsors. Now, you're signing the affidavit of support when you apply for the 2-year green card. You're filling out the 864 USCIS form I-864. You fill it out. You get the family size correct. You get all your information on your taxes for the last 3 years. You fill it out properly. You sign it, and then you send it in to immigration, and then your new wife or husband gets his or her green card. Well, what does that mean with the 864? Well, it means you have signed a contract with the U.S. government for 10 years with your beneficiary. 10 years of actual, in other words, she has to work in the United States for at least 10 years plus, and then you're no longer bound by that contract. But what happens if, you marry somebody, you bring them to the United States, and you get divorced? That happens sometimes, and the foreign national, she gets to keep her green card because it was a real marriage when she came here, or he came here, but it didn't work out, and then she got divorced. Immigration says, okay, it was a real marriage. We're going to let her get her green card. But what happens if she goes on to public assistance and she's a green card holder? So you're divorced from this lady. You haven't seen her for 5 years. She's living clear across the other side of the United States. You don't know where she is, probably. And then she goes on public assistance. But her name is still in the immigration database. If she goes on public assistance, after about 6 months, Mr. American Citizen Sponsor, you are going to get a letter from immigration saying that you have to repay the U.S. government all the money that she took while on public assistance. And you're going to say, wait a second, I've been divorced from her for 5 years now. I don't even know where she freaking lives. I didn't even know if she's alive or not. And you telling me she's on public assistance? Yeah, she's been collecting welfare for the last year. She's collected $12,000 in welfare benefits. And now you, a Mr. American Citizen Sponsor, need to write us a check for $12,000 and repay the government for the welfare that she took. That's happening right now. Starting December of 2025, those letters started going out to American citizens who signed contracts with 864s with the U.S. government, and they, and their beneficiary has passed away, has divorced them. They're no longer together, or they're still together, and she's on welfare. You lost your job, Mr. American Citizen Sponsor. You lost your job. You're not working, and so your beneficiary, she's on welfare, collecting, government assistance. What's happening is immigration is now being given this information by the local state, and governments. USCIS and immigration and the IRS and all these government entities are working together. Homeland Security, the Border Patrol, ICE, they're all working together. So if you're married to a foreign national and then you've been married 5, 6, 7 years, 8 years, and then for the last year she's been on welfare or he's been on welfare, public assistance, you are going to get a letter from immigration or from the DOJ or Homeland Security, probably Homeland Security, and they're going to tell you you owe the U.S. government all this money. So before you bring someone over to the United States and before you sign Form I-864, be advised you are contractually promising the U.S. government you are going to take care of your beneficiary and that she or he is not going to become a public charge. If she does, you're going to get the bill. And if you think to yourself that you're going to evade that, then you're wisely mistaken. Now, let's suppose you decide to move. I want to move. I want to move and go live in another state. 10 states across the freaking side of America. Immigration, the DOJ, Homeland Security, they will find you. They will prosecute you for moving without notifying immigration, and they will also sue you to recover any losses that lady or man or gentleman created by taking money from the U.S. government or the state government, local government. Jay Baxter, has there been any new visa rules in the last year? Well, for adjusting from the 2-year to the 10-year that you have to do for Karina. Well, yeah, there's always, it's just, here's the thing. It's not that there are any new visa rules. It's just that they are enforcing the rules that have been in place for 20 or 30 years that have never been enforced before. So I would say I don't see any new rules other than the biometrics are being redone for everybody who just, because they're rechecking biometrics. But that's not going to apply to Karina because she just applied for her 10-year green card. So she's going to get a biometrics appointment anyway, just because of the timing. So you're going to get biometrics done more frequently. If you get in trouble with law enforcement, the new rule is going to be that the local and state governments will notify immigration or ICE that you're a green card holder and that you did something wrong. I mean, the only real big changes that I've seen are that the government agencies are now communicating to each other more closely. Okay? They're talking to each other. They're sharing information. ICE, Homeland Security, the Border Patrol, the Internal Revenue Service, local governments, like in Tallahassee, the seat of government in Florida is in Tallahassee. When Karina went to get her driver's license, Okay, she passed the written test, she passed the driver's test. When she went to get her driver's license, they had to verify her green card was legitimate. They had to verify it in Tallahassee and then with the federal government to see if it was, not a forged green card, I-551. Was it a forgery? So they had to scan it, and then they checked the alien number, and it came back perfectly fine. And they issued her a Florida driver's license, which is now it's got a little star on her driver's license, which means it's a federally approved state ID, basically. Jay Baxter, yeah, they forced us to do her biometrics 4 times, I remember. Made us do our own city, state, and federal background check, because that's in Oklahoma, right? Before they issued her a green card. It was very weird. Well, you got caught in the very beginnings of this new investigative process. The FBI right now is investigating everybody, okay? In the past, they would just take your fingerprints at the biometrics, run it through the FBI database, and that was it. But they're doing more than that now. They're running it through the FBI database, the state database, the city, the local law enforcement database. They're checking everything. So if you got a let's say a speeding ticket 2 years ago, it would show up in the state records, but it wouldn't show up in the federal record. Okay, now the federal government's going to find it. So if you got 5 speeding tickets in school zones, or you got a DUI, something like that, it's going to show up now, and immigration's going to find it. They're doing a very in-depth investigation, and don't worry about it. The only people that have to worry about this extended or more in-depth background check, are people that have broken the law, not just immigration law, but regular. If you got speeding tickets, DUIs, they're going to find out. And as far as traveling is concerned, you can travel on a 2-year green card, but I don't recommend it. I don't recommend you travel outside of the United States on a 2-year green card. Don't do it. Remember, a 2-year green card is a temporary probationary green card. It's like, what's the best way to do this? How can I explain this? From a military mindset. Now, let's take my friends who are in the SEALs, Navy SEALs. No, I'm not a Navy SEAL. I was in the Navy for 20 years, but I worked with Navy SEALs for a lot of that time, okay, as a support person. But when you go through BUDS training as a Navy SEAL, graduating from BUDS is the first step. Then you have to graduate from jump school. You have to make it through jump school. Then you have to make it through 6 months of special qualifying training. So after 12 months, then, if you make it through all that, you get your Navy SEAL pin, right? You're trident. Then you could go on probation for a year at a SEAL detachment, like SEAL Team 1, SEAL Team 2, but you're not going to go to SEAL Team 6. That's another screening process all by itself. You're going to go to like a regular SEAL team, SEAL Team 2, Team 1, etc. And then you got to prove yourself there. So I'm not, comparing Navy SEALs to green card holders, 2-year green card holders by any means, but the process is the same. For 2 years, you have a 2-year green card. You have to prove yourself to immigration. You got to prove you're in a real relationship. You got to prove that you guys love each other and that you are commingling funds and that you want to build a life together. And in those 2 years of the probationary 2-year green card, this is opportunity for you to bring this evidence to immigration when you file for the 10-year green card with Form I-751. Okay? Being a Navy SEAL, you got to make it through BUDS, you got to make it through jump school, you got to get through the dive training, the pool week, the pool training, then the special qualification training, 6 months blowing stuff up in California, and then you go to a SEAL unit as a probationary SEAL. It takes you about 2 years before you become really accepted into a SEAL team. After you graduate from BUD/S, it's going to take you 2 years to get you a 10-year green card, as long as you qualify and make it through the training, right? That's the only way I can explain it. But I'm not a Navy SEAL, but I understand their process, and that's the best way I can explain to you the 2-year green card. It's probationary. You got an ankle bracelet around your ankle. Immigration wants to know where you are, what you're doing, where you're going, where do you live, where do you work. They want to know this stuff. And if you can't prove that you live with your beneficiary, and if you can't prove that you're commingling funds, and if you can't prove that you are happily married, then good luck getting your 10-year green card, because it's not going to happen. It's not. You're going to be put into removal proceedings. Let me see. Jay Baxter, I think when we do our 2-year adjustment, I'll preemptively go and get all the background checks just in case I don't get multiple RFEs again. Yeah, you can do that. You can run your own FBI check. You can Google FBI background check. I think it's like $10. You can do your own background check with the FBI. You know, I ran it. I mean, my FBI background check. The only thing that showed up was my speeding ticket in Albuquerque. Was it? Where did I get my speeding ticket? I got it in New Mexico. I can't remember if I was in Santa Fe or Albuquerque, but I got a speeding ticket, and they gave me a choice: go to court or pay the ticket. I said I was speeding. I was in a big hurry. I was doing military stuff. I had to get from A to Z. I said I was speeding, so I wrote a check and paid for the fine, and that showed up on my FBI background check, and that was it. So immigration saw that too, I'm sure. Jay Baxter, my wife doesn't drive, so she is safe from getting tickets. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But she needs to get a driver's license. She needs to have a driver's license from your hometown. What, you're from Oklahoma, right? You're in Oklahoma? Let me see. For the 10-year green card for evidence, it's basically pictures, about 50 to 60 pictures, doing things together, proof of doing things together with our family and going places, financial records, joint banking, and other stuff like bills with both names. That's right. And it's a joint application. Karina and I filed for her 10-year green card on May 7th together, jointly as a couple. We included 2 years worth of bank statements, and on the bank statements it shows where Karina was using her credit card, buying stuff at Publix and Walmart, TJ Maxx. She was buying stuff for the house, buying stuff from Home Depot for the yard. So on the bank statements it showed I'm buying stuff and she was buying stuff. And we had 24 bank statements in our application. We had 26 copies of electric bill, water bill, sewer bill, gas bill. Those went in there. We had 60 pictures of when we first started dating each other. Now, immigration attorneys will tell you, well, you only need to show what you've been doing together in the last 2 years while you've been married. That's all well and good, but I disagree. My opinion is you need to include pictures from when you first started dating up until you filed for the 10-year green card. Now, Karina and I, we dated for 3 years in Bogota, Colombia. We got trips all over the place, to the border of Venezuela, to the west coast of Colombia, to the Caribbean Sea. So when I filed for the 10-year green card with Karina as a couple, I put pictures in there from 2021 all the way through 2026. So when the immigration officer opens up her package in a year from now, maybe a year and a half from now, who knows, they're going to go through it like a book. They'll go through the pictures, and they're going to see a timeline of our relationship in pictures. 2021, 2022, 23, 24, 25, 26. Okay? That's what they're looking for. And evidence, you also need to get your wife or husband on life insurance, car insurance policies, home insurance, life insurance. those documents hold a lot of weight with immigration. When your wife is on the car insurance with you or your husband, that carries a lot of weight with the 10-year green card application, a ton, and also for the 2-year green card. Copperhead, Diego, please explain lessons learned from any what I have found out as far as the withdrawal. Well, Copperhead, what you did was you uncovered a fraudster trying to rip you off $5,000. That's what she was trying to do. Okay? And then, as soon as you declined her the $5,000 to help her brother get a work permit for Australia, she ditched you on, Instagram and Facebook. She ghosted you on Instagram and Facebook. And then all of a sudden, she's trying to play the victim when you told her to pack sand because you followed my advice. You used your brain and not your heart. I know it's easy for me to say, okay, but it is. I've been in that same position years ago. So you booted her to the curb, right? You kept your $5,000 in your bank, and then all of a sudden she started playing the victim. Playing the pity party. Well, what happens in this case is you block her everywhere, and you don't respond to her, and you wrote a fantastic letter to the U.S. Embassy in the Manila, Philippines, withdrawing your K-1 visa application. Remember, you are the sponsor, you are the responsible party, and you are in charge of this K-1 visa, not her. You, Mr. American Citizen sponsor, Miss American Citizen sponsor, you are running this dog and pony show. And if you get, for some reason, an inkling or a gut feeling or real severe evidence that the person's trying to rip you off or get you for a green card, you must withdraw the case. And Copperhead did a fantastic job. You wrote a letter, you sent it to USCIS and to the U.S. Embassy in Manila, Philippines, and you told the U.S. Embassy in Manila, don't process this K-1 visa for this lady. I'm withdrawing. Copperhead, I got her a state ID, Jay Baxter. Okay, that's great. Make sure you put it in the 10-year green card application, and put her state ID above your driver's license in Oklahoma. Put them together so immigration can see we both living at the same address in the picture, in the photo. Copperhead, I still have all her physical paperwork. Should I trash it or keep it? You want to keep all that paperwork for 5 years. Keep it for 5 years. Remember, you have withdrawn the application, so you take all that paperwork that you filled out in the past, the NOA-1, the NOA-2 letter, the K-1 visa, the I-129F approval, all that paperwork, put it in a file and bury it in the back of your filing cabinet for 5 years. Okay? Keep it for and after 5 years, that's going to be sufficient time for you to meet somebody else. And if you happen to find a foreign national, and I recommend you go down to Bogota, Colombia. Okay? K-1 visas are not being blocked in Bogota, Colombia. Only I-130 applications are currently on hold, not K-1s. Go down to South America. Keep the paperwork for 5 years. After 5 years, run it through the shredder. Have a barbecue burning ceremony. Have a barbecue in your backyard with your new wife from Colombia or Venezuela or Panama or Peru or Chile, and use that paperwork as kindling to set off your barbecue coals. Let me see. Copperhead, does Karina have any single friends in Bogota? She got plenty of single friends, females. There's plenty. Listen, there are lots of really nice single females in Bogota, Colombia. I met Karina's friends. They're really, really nice people. Colombians, Venezuelans, Latinos in general are just the kindest. They got this big heart, okay? They're big-hearted people. They got a big heart. They're very caring people. I loved living in Colombia for 3 years. I'll never forget it, okay? I'll never forget it. And Karina still makes friends. She has her friends in Colombia. She has her family in Venezuela. Her family in family used to live in Colombia. They're moving back slowly to Venezuela because President Trump basically arrested and detained Nicolas Maduro, the communist dictator. He's in jail now in New York. So the Venezuelans are feeling a great sigh of relief now that their country is slowly being returned back to free market capitalism. President Trump and Marco Rubio are doing a great job, fantastic job helping Venezuela get back on its feet. Remember, Venezuela used to be the richest country in South America back in the 70s. And Venezuelan ladies and they're just wonderful, wonderful people. So, yes, Copperhead, my wife has single friends in Bogota, Colombia, and also in Caracas, Venezuela. So, you know, basically, Colombia became Karina's second home before she came to the United States to live with me. I mean, I basically brought her here January 3rd, 2024 from she was having a fantastic life in Bogota, Colombia. She had a big apartment, penthouse, suite. We were close to the supermarket, to the Transmilenio. We could jump on the Transmilenio, which is like a bus system, and then get to the luxury coaches in northern Bogota and take a bus ride somewhere. Now, we took a bus ride in a luxury coach. Now, I'm talking a lot. Remember, Bogota, Colombia is not a third world country. Colombia is not a third world country. It's a high-tech, highly advanced country, okay, with a stable government. So I'm a little confused as to why the State Department put Colombia as a block for processing I-130 applications, which is like spousal visas, but it's not going to be forever. It's only temporary. Okay. Number one, it's unconstitutional to deny due process to an American citizen and his family, her family. Can't do that. So it's going to be the block's going to come off eventually. It's going through lawsuits and everything. They can't possibly win. The State Department's going to lose this lawsuit. I've known Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State. I've known him for 15, 16 years. He's a good man. He's a good guy. I've known him for a long time. Okay? And there's a good chance he could become the next president of the United States if he continues doing the great job he's doing right now as Secretary of State. I mean, he's got this opportunity to become president. Now, I'm not Republican, and I'm not Democrat. I'm independent. But the job he's doing has been good. Jay Baxter, any advice for preparing for citizenship? My wife has been practicing the 128 questions in English. Good. So far, but she probably needs to study the N400. The N400 is just a simple form you fill out online. You can fill out the N400 online and apply for U.S. citizenship online. But she has to be qualified for it, okay? And that means that she has to be married to you for 3 years. And so 36 months from the issue date on her green card, her 2-year green card, 36 months in the future from the issue date is when she's eligible for U.S. citizenship. She could still be waiting for her 10-year green card to be processed on the I-751, and she can become eligible for U.S. citizenship. And what paperwork is for citizenship? Well, you're going to have to repeat tax returns. You're going to need to bring tax returns. Now, you don't need to upload those to the N400. You just got to bring them to the U.S. citizenship interview. You don't have to repeat medical exams or anything like that. But I strongly recommend if you're a beneficiary, a foreign national who's making your life in America, I recommend you become a U.S. citizen when you are eligible 36 months from the issue date of your 2-year green card. She will have her green card in January in 2029. What do you mean? She should have her green card already. What do you mean she'll have her green card in 2029? She should already have her green card. Well, for 3 years. Okay. So January of 2029 is when she can apply for U.S. citizenship. Copperhead, my business partner will soon be getting his real estate license. I had a real estate license, but I let it expire. I'm done. These companies keep emailing me saying, "Hey, Diego, why don't you renew your real estate license? You got to take this course and take this class." And then I'm retired from that stuff. Plus an electrical high vac license. Now that's good. General contractor license. That's great. That's good. Those are. You can make a lot of money with real estate. You can make a lot of money with a high vac license, and you can make a lot of money as a general contractor. But you know what the secret is to making a lot of money? Be a good customer service representative of your business. The secret to running a good, successful business is to be loyal to your customers and to take care of your customers. Even if they're wrong and you're right, you still got to take care of your customer, okay? Unless it's something illegal, obviously. But, the secret to making a successful business and networking, true. You got to network. People have to know that you exist as a business, right? But people are going to know you exist as a business if you are providing excellent customer service, because your customers are going to tell their friends, okay? And then you can have a website made up properly, have some kind of a website made up where they can post, opinions of your company. But those are good ways to make money, Networking is very important, Running a YouTube channel requires networking, right? Somewhat. If people don't know I exist, how are they going to watch the channel to learn how to process a K-1 visa or a green card? I don't promote this YouTube channel. If I was to go out there and promote it like other YouTubers, I would probably have 20,000 subscribers by now. But I don't do that. I let the channel run itself because it's your YouTube channel, basically. I run it for you guys, so you can use the information. I'm not running this YouTube channel to get 1 million subscribers. I'm running this YouTube channel to teach you how to process a K-1 visa and a green card without making any stupid mistakes. It's the stupid mistakes that are costing people their green cards, especially now under the Trump administration, because he's saying, if you don't know how to fill out a basic application, then don't expect us to issue you a green card. What are some ways that the I-751s are getting denied? You apply for your 10-year green card. What are some reasons they're getting denied right off the bat? Well, number one, you sign for your beneficiary. Let's suppose you got the I-751 and the sponsor signs here and the beneficiary signs here. And as the American citizen, you sign for you and then you sign for her. You're trying to save time. Your beneficiary is at the store picking up groceries. You get in the I-751. You sign yours and then you sign hers. It's going to be a problem. Or you're filling out a K-1 visa application, the I-129F, and you don't need a translator and you don't need any additional information. So you pull those 2 pages out of the back of the I-129F. The I-129F, I believe, is 13 pages long. And you pull out the 2 back pages because you don't use them, you don't need them. So now you're submitting an 11-page legal document that's missing 2 pages. You filed for your K-1 visa, 6 months later it comes back denied because you have submitted an illegal document. When you file for a K-1 visa, or when you file for a 2-year green card, or when you file for a 10-year green card, you must include every single freaking page that you print off your computer. If the I-129F has 13 pages, you fill out 13 pages. If it is not applicable to you, you put N-A, N-A, N-A. You fill in every block with N-A if it doesn't pertain to you. If you're filling out the I-129F for your K-1 visa application and you don't need a translator, you put N-A in the block that says, who's your translator? You don't have one. You don't need one. You put N-A. There was one person that this was going back 3 years ago, 4 years ago. This one person called me up and saying, Diego, my K-1 visa got denied because I pulled out the page for the translator. I only pulled that 1 page out. I said, well, yeah, you dummy. It's a legal document. It went from page 1 to page 13, but it's missing page 12. They're looking for page 12. Well, you pulled it out. If you don't need a translator, that's fine, but you must include that page in the process, in the application. Don't be signing for your beneficiary. Don't do that. If your wife is from, I don't know, your wife is from India or from Australia, or she's from Belgium or wherever, or your fiance. Let's suppose in your like Karina, she's from Venezuela. What if you don't know the date of birth of your beneficiary's father's date of birth, or she doesn't know her mother or her father or he? Let's suppose your beneficiary is from Germany and she doesn't know her father, but it's a question on the I-129F. Who is your beneficiary's father? What's his date of birth? Where was he born? Where does he live now? If you don't know, and if it's unknown, you put unknown. Don't leave it blank. If you don't know, don't leave it blank. Put unknown. Because if you leave it blank, they're going to think you forgot to fill it out, and they're going to send everything back to you. Jay Baxter, my wife has slowly been learning English but can't have a full conversation yet. That's okay. If she still can't speak English fluently, should I bring a translator even if it's not necessary? Yes. When you go for the 2-year green card interview, if her English isn't up to par, bring a translator with you. I would. Same for the 10-year green card. Let me see here. Jay Baxter, when we go for the 19-year green card, what the heck is a 19-year green card? You mean 10-year green card, right? There's no such thing as a 19-year green card. 10-year green card. Copperhead, how have you mastered to remain calm and slow down in a hurry up and wait game? Well, I was in the United States Navy for 20 years. And in those 20 years, I spent half of that time at sea. And when you go out to sea in a Navy ship, sometimes you don't know when you're coming back. Sometimes you don't know where you're going. You know, like I was out in the Eastern Med, and then all of a sudden, Desert Storm started. Operation Desert Storm started, and we were out at sea for 2-week shakedown cruise, which means we were just testing the engines, just checking our weapon systems, making sure everybody was familiar with everything in their day job on the ship. So we're out for 2 weeks, and then we get a message from the captain over the speaker that we've been starting dropping bombs on Iraq. But we ain't going back to the port. We're not going back to port. We don't know when. So I had enough clothes for what, 2 weeks? And we were gone for what, 5 months? So I learned patience pretty good. Because if you get in a hurry, if you get frustrated, if you're in the military and you get deployed somewhere and your boss doesn't tell you when you're going to come back, you have to accept that and be calm and patient and work through the process. The same is true with our K1 visa, our 2-year green card, our 10-year green card, her 10-year green card. We're working the process, and we know it's not going to be tomorrow when we get Karina's 10-year green card. It could be in a year and a half from now. Are we worried about it? No. She's still being status. Her 10-year green card application right now is sitting at a UPS hub in Illinois. I can't remember the name. Here's the paperwork. The paperwork is right here. This is the receipt. It cost me $79.78 to ship off her 10-year green card application, and there was a $18 fuel surcharge because the price of gas is out of control. There was a fuel surcharge added to the bill. I mean, I understand they want to cover their gasoline expenses, right? I'm not mad about it. It's all part of doing business with UPS. It's all part of doing business with immigration. $750 is how much it's going to cost to adjudicate her 10-year green card. We filled out Form G1650. We're gonna have immigration take the money out of our checking account. We're not going to get overly excited. We maintain a calm presence. We maintain patience. Patience is the key. It took 2 years for Karina to get her K1 visa. Over 2 years because of COVID. COVID was just finishing up. Remember 2021, COVID was basically in its death throes. Pardon the pun. So it took a long time for her. But so what did I do? I relocated to Colombia and lived with Karina in this big apartment the Colombian government, the Colombian immigration, uh, migration, whatever it's called. They gave me a visa to live in Colombia for 12 months. They just needed to know why I wanted to live there. I said, well, I'm waiting for a K1. It's going to take a long time because of COVID. They said, okay, here's. I did the biometrics. They did the background check on me. They took my picture, and I went through an immigration process to live in Colombia, just like you guys are going through an immigration process to live in the United States. It was the same freaking thing. The only difference is I got my green card to live in Colombia in 3 weeks, not in 4 months. I got it in 3 weeks. Jay Baxter, when we went for our 2-year interview, we brought a translator, and the USCIS officer's first words when he saw that was, after he found out she was a translator, which made us nervous. No, there's nothing to be nervous about. But you got the green card. Now, Karina's learning English, okay? She's been taking English classes for over a year. But we're going to bring a translator to her team. We may not even have to have a freaking green card interview. I mean, her green card application was number one, top notch, top shelf, the best on the planet. The evidence is overwhelming. Immigration will know they are not going to need to interview us for her to qualify for the green card. But if they tell us we have to, because she's Venezuelan, okay, no big deal. We'll bring a translator. And the immigration officer said, well, who's there? This is our translator. Why do you need a translator? Well, she doesn't speak English. And I'm sure you're going to ask her questions in English. And I'm sure you don't want me translating for you because I'm the husband and I have to be separate from this process. I have to be independent from this process. Right? That's the reason. Copperhead. I paid a visa service business agency in the Philippines starting about a year ago. Should I cut ties with them and let them know as well? Yeah, you got no business, you got no reason to be contacting them folks anymore. All this was before I found you, Diego. Well, that's fine, man. You found me. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna get you through this whole thing. I'm gonna get you withdraw. I'm gonna help you withdraw this case from this individual trying to rip you off. Okay, which she is, because she was demanding $5,000 from you to give to her brother so we can get approved for a work visa in Australia. And in order to work in Australia as a Filipina, you got to have at least $5,000 in your Filipino bank account. So that's just one of the rules to get a visa to work in Australia. You got to show intent to return to the Philippines. So I understand what she was trying to do, but she doesn't need to use you to do that. And when you declined and you said, no, I'm not going to do that, all of a sudden she ghosted you and started to ditch you on Facebook and Instagram. That was an instant lesson learned that she was trying to use you. And you have saved yourself from a serious problem, my friend. You saved yourself from a big freaking problem. Now you are free to go find somebody else who's not going to try to rip you off. Jay Baxter, yeah, we still got it. Just got nervous when you said that. Nah, don't be nervous. Listen, you could go into your immigration, your K1 visa interview, or you could go into your 2-year green card interview. You could go for your 10-year green card interview, and the immigration officer could be a real jackass and could be like the guy from Full Metal Jacket, the Marine drill instructor. drilling you for questions like a Marine drill instructor. Okay? But you have to remain calm and remain relaxed and just respond to the questions. Okay? And when you are sitting in your green card interview, 2-year, 10-year, when you're sitting in the office for your green card interview, your beneficiary is sitting here, American citizen sponsor, you're sitting here. Don't be looking at each other like this, trying to coach each other. Look straight at the immigration officer. Okay? If you start looking at each other like this, coaching each other, it's going to create problems for you in trying to get an approval. When the immigration officer asks you a question, Mr. American Citizen Sponsor, you look him or her in the freaking eye and you answer the question. If you don't know the answer, you say, I don't know. And then shut up. And wait for the next question. But don't look at your fiance or now your wife, right? Or don't look at her or him looking for moral support, because that's not going to cut it. The immigration officer is not going to like that. So the immigration officer asks your wife a question, and she's from the Philippines. And she says, and they ask her a question. She needs to look at the immigration officer in the eyes and respond to the question. She mustn't look at you, American Citizen Sponsor, for guidance, because it will be misconstrued as fraud. You got me? You understand what I'm saying? So if you're getting ready for a 10-year green card interview or a 2-year green card interview or a K-1 visa interview, although most likely you won't have the American Citizen Sponsor with you at the K-1, at the consular stage, but once you get to the immigrant stage, you look at the immigration officer, you answer his or her question, look him in the eye, and then wait for the next question. And also refrain from a public display of affection in the office while you're having the interview. Don't be touching your beneficiary's leg, holding her hand, trying to put your arm around her. You don't do that. You sit up straight in the freaking chair, you look at the immigration officer, and you answer the questions. That's why you're there. You don't be looking at her, you don't be lovey-dovey, you answer the questions. Copperhead. Yeah, she said that right at the very tail end when we were going to get scheduled for the interview and the biometrics. Well, you missed a bullet there, my friend. And that's just an expression. It's not real. It's an expression. Yes, consequences of all the big problems. I couldn't imagine what they'd be because of the signing the affidavit of support. She probably would have come to America, got her green card, and then took off. And then you would be stuck with taking care of her financially, even if you did a divorce on her. Let's suppose she came to America, you got married, and then as soon as she got her green card, she was gone. You are still financially responsible for her. And then so you file divorce paperwork. And you get divorced. And she doesn't show up for the divorce hearing. So you win the case because she didn't show up by default, right? You win the case by default. You get your divorce papers, the judge has signed it, you're good to go, you're no longer married to this person. But she's still in America with a green card. Divorced or not, you are going to still be responsible for that person financially. So if you get divorced and then you get the divorce papers in your hand and you haven't seen her for 5 years, or she marries somebody else and then she goes on public assistance and you have no idea where she is and you have no idea she's on public assistance, you're going to get the freaking bill from the U.S. government. Letters are going out every day. Copperhead, yes. Let me see. She put up a photo of our photo we took together on a dinner date and cut the portion of me in. You cut it out. She cut it out. Listen, dude, you gotta forget about her. You gotta wash her out of your brain cells. Okay, you're highly intelligent. You need to wash her out of your cerebral, your brain, and block her everywhere. Block her everywhere, dude. Delete everything with her. It's immature that she cut you out of the picture. It's so immature. She's just trying to mess with your brain and she's trying to make you a victim. Don't be a victim, dude. Be a victor. Be in charge of this process. American citizen sponsor. And watch out for fraud, and watch out for those folks trying to rip you off. It's very rare, 99%. My nose is itchy. 99% of everybody running their green cards, their K1s, they're legitimate, okay? They're in real relationships, but there's a few bad apples out there. Let me see here. Jay Baxter, did you get the same USCIS officer you had for the previous interview for the 2-year and 10-year? You never get the same person. You go to a 2-year green card interview, and then 2 years later you get a 10-year green card interview. It's going to be a different person. Copperhead, she cropped me out of the photo. Don't worry about it, and don't respond to her. She's trying to get a response out of you. She's trying to jerk your kneecaps. Okay, don't respond. Block her. Don't even look at her Facebook. Don't look at her Instagram. Delete her. Forget about her. Destroy all the pictures you have with her. Just keep those documents I said. The NOA 1, the NOA 2, the K1, the approval letter, okay? Put it in a file, put it in your filing cabinet, and keep it for 5 years. And then after 5 years, you're going to meet somebody else, you're going to get married to somebody else, and whoever that person is, use that paperwork to light your barbecue grill with. And that will be your final closure. It's 1 hour. I've been talking for an hour, guys. Tomorrow, we're flying out of Florida. We're out of here. So I won't be doing a live stream on Wednesday and Saturday. Okay? We're not going to be here. So Copperhead, you asked me if I was going to Airbnb the house out. No, but my friend's going to be taking care of the house. I got a Navy buddy who's going to watch the house. Take care of it. Same person, he took care of it when I was in Colombia. He's taking care of the house. But final chance for questions, because when I log off of here, you're not going to hear from Diego and Karina until into the next week. We're going to fly from Florida to Nevada, and then we're going to rent a car, and we are going to travel out west, and we're going to be making some fantastic videos. And if you are a member of this channel, you will be able to watch those videos. Members get to watch them. Okay? See you at the next live stream. And Jay Baxter gets the last word. Okay, good. The USCIS officer we had for the 2 years said our 10-year interview will be much harder. That's correct. We would need much more evidence. That's correct. And have a good night. Be safe. See you guys next week. Okay? And to our members, thank you for being members. We appreciate you investing your time watching the videos. We appreciate you, being a member of the channel, making those $9.99 monthly donations to the Karina and Diego's Party's Breakfast. And we will see you at the next live stream.